away from the Sixers. But you can't. It's like a train wreck. You have to keep looking at it. So occasionally we'll touch on this because I have a new theory on the Sixers and what they're up to. I think I'm on to them. But in any event, we got to look. If you look at the YouTube, we have a new producer for the first segment here. Bill Colarulo's here. I'm Mike Missanelli, of course. Brennan Gunn is in the saddle for Ray for at least the first part of this show. Now,
Yeah.
Bill, would you like to explain why?
Well, I think Ray's got a call with Temple.
Ray is going big time.
He is big
He's got a conference call for a play-by-play situation. Well, he'll be doing Temple basketball games for ESPN Plus.
How about it, man?
He's going to be too large for this show.
Well, first he
You know
gets
what's
his
gonna
name
happen.
he gets his name on the marquee over at Collegeville Bakery. Now he's going to be on ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, a young kid, you wonder if he can stay humble.
One day he's going to say, "Oh yeah, I remember that guy, Mike." And,
I know.
I remember those guys.
Yeah, those guys were when I was just starting out. Those guys were with me, but I always knew that I would surpass their success.
Who the hell is Ray Dunn?
Good one, P. Gun. So we got Brendan behind the glass.
So Brendan is with us today, and Bill, your words of wisdom to him as we were coming into the studio, or what?
I said, "Don't bleep this up."
Don't bleep this up. So, Brendan, how you feeling today? You all right?
Not bad. Happy to be here with you, Mike. Bill, looking at you. Happy to be here with Mike.
Oh, my man.
Oh, look at that.
So, me and Brendan used to spend some weekends together. He's produced me a couple times.
Well, in any event, we had an Eagles football game, and I got to be honest with you. I can't see. I know you think this is a trap game, and I want you to convince me today why this is a trap game and why this Jacksonville team has a chance to win. There are actually people picking the Jags in an upset, including this guy from The Athletic. I just don't get it. I'm looking at the numbers, and the numbers don't equate at all. If the only thing that you have going into this game is a hunch that it's a trap game, I can't go there. I got to go by what the statistical data shows me, and the statistical data shows me there's no way that the Jacksonville Jaguars can be good enough to come in here and win. Now, would they cover? Who cares? 7.5 they're getting. Maybe they can cover. I don't think they will. But, Bill, explain to the people why you think this could be an upset victory for the Jags, which would throw this fan base into a peculiar spot is if they lose to this game.
Oh, you're not kidding. If they lose to this game, that's going to set everybody back again. Now, I don't think they're going to lose this game. Let me make that clear. I don't think that they're going to lose to, like you said, an inferior roster like the Jags, who are going to be without both of their starting wide receivers. They just traded away their starting left tackle. So you look at it on paper and you say, there's no way the Eagles should lose to the Jags. And that's why I say it could be a trap game. Because when you factor in all of these things, they shouldn't lose. They got a better roster. It's an inferior opponent. They're coming off 3 straight wins, 2 back-to-back road blowouts. But you got Doug Pederson coming back to town. You got a guy who, say what you will about Dougie P, and we can debate whether or not he's actually a good coach, an X and O's guy. I think his players like him. And these players for the Jaguars understand what this means for Doug Pederson, because not only is he returning to Philadelphia, he could be coaching for his job. So when I factor that in, I say, all right, well, you know what? This could be the quote-unquote trap game, because the Eagles are going to be feeling pretty good. They shouldn't lose this game, but yet you look at the Jags, and they may be playing for their coach's life. But with all that said, no excuse.
Of course, Bill is of the he keeps going down this narrative that the players care that they're playing for the coach's life. Like I
think they do.
You think they give a flip that Doug where they want to save Doug Peterson's job? Seriously.
I think they like the guy.
Oh, come on.
I think they like the guy.
They're struggling. They're not an efficient team. They obviously have not been well coached this year. Do you think they care about saving his job? Come on, Bill.
Well, the
Why
defense,
do you keep buying into this? Oh, this coach, they play for their coach.
There's a part of it, Mike. I mean, there's a part of it when you look at Doug Pederson, and he's a likable guy. He's a likable coach, that the Jaguars players would not be, oh, yeah, you know what? let's try to win this game for our head coach. He's going back to where he got fired.
Couldn't care less.
I can't buy
They
that.
couldn't care less. If they were a good team, they would care. They're not a good team. So what's the incentive to play for their coach, to save their coach? The coach hasn't been that great for them.
Now, the defense has really let them down. And the issue is, and again, I'm not making an excuse. The Eagles should win this game, and they should win this game big. And if they don't, I'm going to be furious on Monday. But you just look at those factors. That's why I say it could be a trap game. And you look at this Jaguars defense, as bad as they've been, the one thing they've done well is stop the run. They're a top 10 defense in rushing yards per game against. They're a top 6 in yards per carry against. So what that means is the Eagles are probably going to come out and throw the football. And if that happens, does Jalen Hurts go back to his turnover-worthy plays? Because that's the only way that the Jaguars can upset the Eagles, if they win the turnover battle. Now, a positive for the Eagles, the Jags actually have less takeaways this season than almost anybody except for the Eagles. They both have 4 takeaways. So neither defense has really taken the football away. But that's the only way this team can stay in this game, is if they win the turnover battle. So the Eagles protect the football, try to establish the run, pick your spots. See, that's the fear. They come out and they say, you know what do the Jags not do well? Oh, they don't defend the pass, and now they throw the ball 35, 40 times. I don't want to see that. You should be able to impose your will. If you are that good of a running team, which I think they are, no one should be able to stop you.
I get it, but still, you can't ignore the weakness of the Jags. Now, with the full complement of receivers that they had last week, I mean, they're 4-0 when AJ plays 80-plus in each of those 4 games. Devontae at 85 yards, Calcaterra 58. They had like 225 yards with 3 guys last week. And I look at the Jags. Against the pass, they're rated 111.8 rate. That's 31st in the league. 8.1 yards per attempt. That's 30th in the league. What's going to stop about that?
Only turnovers. That would be it. They got to protect the football.
That's what I'm saying. So, I don't care if they pass the ball in this game.
Well, they're going to have to pass the ball, I think. You got to take advantage of something the Jaguars don't do well.
And besides that, Josh Jacobs ripped into him with the run. They don't stop any part of what the Eagles do well.
Well, they're only giving up 4.2 yards a carry, which is 6th in the NFL.
Jacobs had 127 last week on him.
So you think Saquon's going nuts tomorrow or Sunday?
Either way, if they can't stop the run, they can't stop the pass. We had our guy on yesterday who covers the Jags, and he says they're going to be unable to score 30 points, which means they can't keep up with what the Eagles are going to score in this game because their defense is not good enough to hold the Eagles under 30.
Yeah, Jags are giving up 28 points a game, which is...
They're giving up 30-plus points in 3 of the last 4 games.
Yeah, their defense is terrible, man.
Then I don't get it. Now, are you going to try to beat the Eagles? You're going to try to score against the Eagles' defense? Their pass defense has been really good. 88 rate against the pass. And their completion percentage, they're in the top 10. The yards per attempt, they're in the top 10. The defense is against the pass. And they're going to throw 2 novices at them. Brian Thomas is a rookie. A good player.
He's hurt.
He's not going to play?
I don't think so. I don't think Brian Thomas is playing. Am I right, B-Gun?
Well, then that makes it worse for them because Parker Washington, Penn State kid.
Here we go with the Penn State.
Bigsby.
And don't think I didn't notice the hat today.
Well, listen, I Wednesday I unveiled a little Penn State love. So today, as we go into the game, Penn State love, I actually don't think they're going to win the game.
So, Brian Thomas, I just pulled it up, by the way.
Yeah.
He was a limited participant this week with a chest injury, so I don't know if he's playing or not.
I think he'll play.
Christian Kirk is out.
Yeah.
He has a broken
So
collarbone.
Parker Washington becomes their main guy.
Well, if he's a Penn State guy, I mean.
Well, yeah, he's a good, nice little player.
Watch out.
He's not fearsome.
Yeah, how about the I don't know if I want to call it sucking up from John Kincade this morning.
Kincade was sucking up?
Picking Penn State as his lock of the week? What's he doing here? Is that an olive branch
He's
of
more
peace?
optimistic than I am. I don't know. I can't call it. Penn State being a home dog scares me. It really does.
Yeah. You're all about the line.
In any event, I hope it happens. The worst that could possibly happen is they lose. They're still in the playoffs, so I'm at least satisfied they're going to play in a postseason, meaningful postseason game.
Yes, because they could lose this game and win out, and they'll be in the postseason, right?
And they won't win out. There's nobody who can beat them.
Yeah, so then it's not as
remaining schedule. All right, so we'll talk about it. Now, let me just touch on the Sixers. I believe that the Sixers have it in their mind. I'm firmly, because I don't believe he's going to play for a really long time. I believe the Sixers' strategy with all this clandestine horse crap that they're pulling on this, their goal is to reduce the season for Embiid. Their goal is to, if we shorten the season by a third, that would work better for us for the playoffs. So I think this is all a ruse. I think this is they're cheating their fan base for the sake of preserving this guy to only play the 2/3 of this season.
All right, well, let me ask you, because if you're correct, let's say he comes back in a couple of weeks, but they have him playing a lot of games. He's not missing every back-to-back. Would you feel any better about that? Would you rather him start the season missing every back-to-back or do this strategy, but he plays a lot of games?
I got news for you.
He's not playing
Even
back-to-back.
if they, of course not. Even if they do this, he's not playing back-to-back. Yeah. This way they can reduce the load even more. It's all about reducing his load, which to me is fraudulent to the fan base. Now, I know people are going to buy into it and they go, well, I kind of like that concept. I kind of like that concept where they reduce the season for him to 2/3. That'll serve us better. And I go, yeah? Okay, well, then you don't know the NBA. Because him sitting out games does not serve the team better. I know you think it does. I know you think that he can just pop out of the sky, land on a basketball court, and then they go into the playoffs with this full head of steam. Nuh-uh. That's not the way it works in the NBA.
Yeah, but for them to do that, wouldn't we then need to get some sort of injury news? If they're going to shut him down for an extended period of time to start the season.
What have they been saying so far?
But they can't keep doing
Why
this.
Why not?
They just got fined for it.
He's ramping up.
What are they going to keep saying he's ramping up for the next month?
He's not quite ready yet.
And they're going to keep getting fined? They're going to keep getting fined by the NBA?
I don't know. Maybe the NBA goes, okay, he's not ready to play. He is injured. I don't know. I think this is their strategy. I think they are trying to reduce the season for Joel Embiid. Yeah, you can't pull like I just didn't wake up on a turnip truck. You know, I've seen how these teams play with their fans.
Well, I'm assuming we're going to get some sort of update today because the Sixers are back in action tomorrow, right?
Hey, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. But I smell a rat here. And the rat is that they're trying to reduce the season, and that's their main strategy because it does not make sense why he would not be playing now. Just makes no sense. So I think they're going to continue this line where he's rehabbing and he's doing everything. We don't think he's strong enough and blah, blah, blah. And they can play that narrative on for a long time.
So you may not be wrong because they reassess him today, and they say he's not ready to play on Saturday, and then he's not going to take the West Coast trip.
Of course.
So he doesn't take the West Coast trip. He would miss the game against the Suns, the Clippers, the Lakers.
And you know what they do? They got a calendar, and they're putting an X. All right, we preserved them here.
Oh, man.
We saved them here.
You may be right, Mike.
We saved them here. We saved. Now, let's see. We can save next week. Okay, we can save them here. We can save it. But yeah, by the time we get to 50 games, we're all good. So there you go. All right, 610-632-0975 is how you climb into the show. Mike Missanelli Show. Tell me about what you feel about this game. Are you overconfident? Do you actually think, like Bill thinks, that the Eagles could be upset in a trap situation? It's the Mike Missanelli Show back after this.